Hi, folks, and welcome to this very special edition of the Irish Wrestling Podcast, where we eventually have our awards show. Again, we've been talking about this for a long time, and we are a bit delayed compared to where we were last year, but we're here now and we're ready to announce all the winners on all the votes. Joining me, as always, the hardest working referee in, I don't even know if it's Ireland, Europe, or the world anymore. To me, he's just the
Universe.
absolute goat. Niall Foxy Fox. The universe. He's the universe goat, is he?
The universal fucking
The universal champion referee.
Going into business for himself, by
Jesus.
And as always, we have the power couple, Jerry and Liz Rush, joining us. Liz does the whole 5 times stuff. I can't do that. I genuinely can't. And the Queen. Crowns up for the Queen. But yeah, listen, we've a lot to get through. We've 10 awards to announce. We've put a lot of work in. So first off, before we get started on that, I just want to thank everybody for sending in nominations, votes, all that kind of stuff. Without you, we couldn't have gotten it done. So we're here now and we're ready to rock. So guys, are we excited for these awards?
absolutely raring to go. It's been a long time coming, but oh my God, what a year 2023 was for Irish wrestling. And I think it speaks for itself when we saw the number and also the variety of nominees coming in. That was a huge testament to show that, yes, we have some very, very strong contenders on the Irish wrestling scene, but the fact that it has branched out so much and people are interested in the whole scene, you know what I mean? They're traveling up and down the country, they're traveling overseas, they're going over to the neighbors across the water, up, down, left, right, around the country to follow the talent. And just to see, as I said, the wide variety of nominees compared to even 2022, which was again a very strong year. It's so exciting to be a fan of the Irish wrestling scene now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? How big of a year it was. This was a harder year for me, in my opinion. There's some categories there that were really tough to pick from. But yeah, like this I was shocked at some of the, obviously my picks that I picked, some of them didn't even get close. But it just shows how strong some of the categories were. And yeah, we do have just the achievement award that we handed out last year. I think we'd be very remiss if we don't give it again, the referee of the year. Going to Mr. Niall Foxy Fox, the hardest working referee in the universe. I don't even think there's no point even throwing in a referee of the year, is there? And that's no offense to any other referees on the island, but like, let's be fair, lads. Foxy is just the absolute and utter goat, and if we were to do an award on it, he just wouldn't stand a chance. So the honorary referee, because he actually gave out. Do you remember he gave out to us last year and he said, "Why isn't there a referee category?"
Oh, what?
I
Billy?
told you, lads.
Yeah,
Business for
you
himself.
said
I
why
want
isn't
that.
there a referee
I want all
category?
the referees in Ireland to
Who's-
be in one match,
For one
yeah,
fall.
one fall. This episode is brought to you by One Fall, the magazine by or the comic by Foxy and Brian. Get it now. Order now.
Well,
I'm actually
stocks
prepared
flat.
this time. I'm actually prepared this time, so there you
Yes.
go.
one
Way.
fall.
One
Folks, this
fall.
comic is going down a storm, not only in Ireland, but across the water and over the pond as well to the States. They are reviewing this and they are loving what is coming out of One Fall. We cannot wait for the follow-up to it. And I mean, if one little comic can make that much of an impact worldwide, can you imagine what comic number 2 is going to do? So get on to Niall, get on to Brian, and make sure you get your copies and pre-order the next one as well. We cannot wait. What a masterpiece.
And wait for it. You will see me as well, just to preface what we're doing here tonight. I am the only one who knows these results. So none of the other guys know. So it's a complete
No
unknown
spoilers.
for them.
I'll
So
create shit now if my winners aren't in there. I will create absolute fucking murder, like
what you
uproar.
will see me doing throughout is sending, maybe taking pictures of a screen, because I'm actually sending the lads the results if they are announcing a winner. live. So just if you see me with my phone up taking a picture, and it's because I'm literally taking a picture of the results to send to the lads to announce the winner. But I think I'll kick off the first category, and we will start with the show of the year. And just to run through our nominees. So there was a few in here. So we have the OTT 9th anniversary, Fight Factory 16th anniversary, Fight Factory Fresh Life Summer Party, Hard Knocks Hard Luck, Hard Knocks Undisputed, NLW Summer Rumble, OTT WrestleRama, and RCW You Scumbag You Maggot. I think Foxy only didn't ref one of those shows, which is
Yeah,
a great
RCW.
achievement. The RCW show.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
again, I don't think there's no bad show there. Is there? Like it's
No.
all these nominees have something to be proud of. So who do you guys fancy in this category before we get to revealing the winners?
That's tough. That's the caliber of shows like 2023 was just unbelievable, and people were talking about them for ages afterwards. And like even when we saw the ones that were in, I mean, what a year for Hard Knocks. You know, they had a really, really strong year show wise. 9th anniversary was absolutely fab as well. But You Scumbag You Maggot as well was outstanding in Cork. I left that show with the biggest smile on my face. It was just so entertaining and so enjoyable. And there wasn't a person in there who wasn't on their feet at the end of the night. So, I mean, it's all the ingredients that you want for a show, but as tough, oh my God. I'll go for a three-way with them, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Pretty much the same. Like we're in attendance for a lot of them. The Fight Factor shows we didn't get a chance to. Something we hope once they come back, we can actually start attending more of them. And the NLW will be at the Easter Brawl one, so that'll be our first time going to Easter, our first time going to an NLW show. So, missed the Rumble one. Second, we missed the Rumble one because we do love a good Rumble match. But you know, WrestleRama, hell of a show in the the Red Cow. Had Osprey, had a lot of fucking boo to them. Now we're never going back there. Like
Boo Earns.
Yeah, 2023 people make because this is being recorded in March. If you're not watching it in March or April, wherever, like it's up until December of 2023. So if you're wondering why certain matches or certain shows that happened in January or February aren't in it, it's up until 2023. So 2023, like pretty much every promotion, every show was a sellout. Pretty much all of them, like I don't know, maybe 90%. I don't know the total figure, like, but about a good 90% of all the shows were sold out. It's a testament to all the promotions. They have all sell out, and all the shows, like there's this category could have been 20 shows long, and we try to pick a winner out of them. So it's hard to say. Oh, there's like you said, there's no bad show on this list. Everybody deserves to be in there. So whoever wins, they deserve it.
That's another thing as well. Sorry, I'll just say that, like, while we're on the first category, there was a lot more nominees as well. And there's so many nominees in each category that I had to basically narrow them down, and I narrowed it down by who received the most nominees. So if you're wondering why a show isn't in there, that's the reason it's not there, is because there was more nominees for some. I had one person given out about Scrappermania not being in there. And it was literally they didn't get enough nominations compared to the other ones. So that's why it wasn't there. Although Scrappermania did get a few nominations, it didn't get enough to break that barrier. And I had to draw the line somewhere so that there wasn't, again, as Jerry said, 20 shows in there, and to make it some sort of limited, So Foxy, who have you got show of the year? As we said, you worked. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 shows there. You worked 7 of the 8. I'm not even sure if you can remember the all the shows you worked at, many of them. But do you have one standout from 2023?
Like, again, like, because I'm looking at the list there, and I'm like, yeah, like every single show that's on that has something that was either either incredibly well produced or incredible matches or segments, or there was always something on these shows. So trying to narrow it down was really, really hard. And plus because I do because I do most of the shows, I'm like my brain kind of needs like a jump start on like, right, what was on this show? What was on this show? I'm trying to remind myself and be like, okay, how do I do this fairly? It's but uh my my vote was for 90-year anniversary OTT, and the the anniversary shows just tend to be really, really good. They tend to be very special because, like, again, it's one of the few shows that we actually do in the National Stadium. And I was very happy with 90th anniversary because it was very Irish heavy.
Yeah.
Which was a very nice turnaround compared to a few years prior, where it was heavily imported and very few Irish on it. So to see how far we've come in a couple of years, like it's to me like that's a great show of like what kind of talent we're producing now. The fact that like we're able to rely on one of our big shows with just our local talent. Like you can't ask for anything better than that. I mean, like, and to have the biggest crowd possible, like 2,200, to me, that's a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my pick as well when I voted. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to win. But without further ado, let's move on to the results.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Truth Show, the only show that tell the truth and only the truth because only the truth matters. I'm your host, the last and the most honest man, and today we're speaking about a show of the year here with TYE, CLO, Double D, Ty, Claude, and let's see who won the show of the year. It wasn't The Truth Show, that was 2023, and we're speaking about 2023, and the winner is OTT 9th anniversary show, and this prize goes directly to the main boss, Joe Cabray. Excuse.
Wow.
I think it's very hard to beat a show like that, as Foxy said, 2,200 people, National Stadium, and the names that are on it, and then the absolute quality of matches that they produced. Like we eventually got Moxley's. People were waiting 4 years for Moxley, so I think it's very hard to overlook that. We had Kenta on that show, you know.
Yeah.
There's just so many amazing quality matches, and it's always a standout show. So I do feel a little bit bad for the other shows having to try to compete with a show that's like the ninth anniversary, but um again, congratulations to all the nominees, and being nominated is an achievement in itself. And congratulations to OTT, our winner.
I just want to take this time to thank everybody at Irish Wrestling and Entertainment, and those, of course, who have voted for 90th anniversary as Show of the Year. Stadiums are always amazing. And finally getting to see some of the matches like Be Cool and Mox being pulled off, and Jay and Kenta, the Grizzled Vets against Sam and Charlie. What a moment as well. It's been amazing. I hope you continue to support us on our journey. And once again, I want to thank everybody who voted for 90th anniversary.
Okay, our next award, I'm going to pass over to Mr. Fox to present this one. We're looking at, what are we on to? Moment of the year.
yeah. So again, like what all of our like nominees, like they have to be whittled down. I mean, like the highest vote is there's a certain bracket of like where like the cutoff point is, obviously, as Colin said. So, but I mean, like with this nominees that were in there, like there was a lot of moments that we had over the last like 2023. So, but I mean, like with the nominees that we had for this year, like as thankfully Colin like sent me the list, so I'm like, because I'm terrible on the spot. So, but I mean, like you had like the nominees that people had to select from, so were Be Cool's return, which happened at the OTT Tag Tournament show. Like we had CBL wins the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. That was at Fight Factory Grapple Games. Fire in Sem's bag.
Poor Nikki getting burned to a
Oh my
crisp there.
God, that was on OTT The Draw. That was actually a really good show as well. It's all right. Grand Slam Sam. Like,
What a moment.
Scrapper Mania. Like, it just, yeah. Like, it, I know I'm reading through these, but like as I read through, I'm like, God damn it! Like I remember that moment, and like they're good. Like you're wondering, like, right, this is a very tough list to kind of like, which one goes? Like, which one do I go for? Like, Jay or Danny Cross doing his 450 splash. That was in Wolverhampton for OTT Homecoming,
Yeah.
and just like amazing to watch, but scary moment as well for me.
Shitting myself.
Ah man, scary moment.
Again, fucking couple weeks ago.
How he didn't die, I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, it's still when you look back on it, one moment like to catch on video.
Just sorry, before you go any further, the Danny Cross won an award last year. What did he win?
I don't know.
Oh, was it like most improved of the year or something? I think it was most improved. But I literally got him to do his acceptance speech the week after, or was it the weekend of? I think it might have been the weekend off. So he did that on the Friday. I think I got him to do his acceptance speech on the Sunday, and he was busted up from hitting his head after that move as well. So there's a throwback to last year where we
That's
had his
nice.
acceptance speech. If you go back to the 2022 um awards, you'll actually see the war wins from that. So again, that's something from the top of the year. Like Foxy's just after having the bail there, probably getting in trouble by
Yeah.
the missus. But I'll run through the rest of them here. So we had LJ Cleary's golden ticket cash in from Hard Knocks Hard Luck. Again, a hell of a moment, very unexpected, massive pop. Moxley finally arriving in OTT from the anniversary show. Again, getting Moxley after 4 years. Thatcher from the balcony where he starts a match coming off that balcony at Hard Knocks, unreal. And then the nice screw job where Foxy absolutely
Yeah.
fucked
Yeah.
over Justy.
Yeah.
Poor bloke from NLW's Christmas Bash. Like there's a hell of a list of moments there, and this is probably my favorite award because as I look through the list, I cannot help but smile because I'm remembering all these moments and I'm remembering these things that make wrestling so special. It's not necessarily the matches, it's not necessarily the results, it these things right here. And this is why I love it so much. And this is what keeps everybody coming back is these moments.
100%.
So
Absolutely.
true.
Like absolutely. Because it's again, like it's like you said, it's not just the matches, it's the moments that are given with it. And those moments can happen in like segments or little like promos or even just like an appearance at shows. Like I mean, like I would have put it as an honorable mention. Like I know it wasn't 2023, but still as a good moment in say OTT history, just having Finn Balor show up. Like that's a moment that
Yeah.
like again, like people are there like, no, he's actually here. Like stuff like that. Like just yeah. That's what makes wrestling fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's what makes us fall in love with wrestling and continue to watch it. So like, I mean, looking at that list there, like I have her in front of me there, and I'm just like, that's like that's a lot of good moments. And I'm just like, shit. like
And there were so many more. Like even that's
Yeah.
just that's a filter down list of what people nominated. There were so many more. You could it's the same as previous category. You could have gone on for days.
Absolutely. Like absolutely. Like there's probably a lot of moments that like weren't mentioned, like even in the nominees that probably didn't get a chance to be mentioned, but like still.
What's the crack? Paddy M, the seasoned vet of the day. Listen, everything pro wrestling is moments. And who better to announce this year's moment of the year than Paddy M, last year's winner. We create moments all the time with our entrance, with our finishes, with our characters, with everything we do. So I'm going to announce this year's moment of the year. Hope there's a few quid in this, huh? And boy God, was it a moment of the year. He came through the crowd, he ran amok, he brought thumbtacks, he brought everything. But Mox arriving at OTT is moment of the year. I'm still baiting though.
Like,
Had to be that, right?
like,
Yeah, like it definitely, a lot of people voted for it, but like it didn't, like 27.3% of the vote it got, so it got just over a quarter of the vote. But
Wasn't
then
a landslide, like.
Be Killed Return was 20.2%. So like it wasn't a million miles away. There wasn't a massive gap separating them. So yeah, I think it was on a lot of people's minds, and I think it was like, if I don't know, if people weren't waiting 4 years, I'm not sure if it would have won.
If people were waiting 4 years for Be Cool to come back, it might have been.
Yeah.
You know, if Moxley was just announced and there was no pandemic and there was no delays and shit, it probably wouldn't have won.
Yeah.
I think because like the build up to it and the fact that it was Barry that was the one chosen to take on Mox. Like it's, and for what they produced as well, like they produced an amazing match. Like told a great story during it. Extremely scary like match to do. Like for me. I'm not a fan of super violent matches. I think like it can be done right if you have the right people. But a lot of the time it tends to be just thrown by the wayside, like, and just hit each other with nonsensical weapons. But on this night, you had people who knew exactly how to utilize the weapons and maximize the effect of the weapons that were used. Like, realistically, if you were to look back on that match, chances are there's only like three, I think four different weapons, and they're kept to a very minimum, like amount of usage. So, yeah, like, but all in all, like just the moment alone of like Mox with his music, like Wild Thing, like actually walking through the stadium.
You could feel the buzz, couldn't you? Like you could
Yes.
like everyone knew that match was next because we had the little promo and stuff beforehand, and then didn't am I right in saying
Barry came out on the
Barry came
moped.
out first, didn't he?
Yeah,
And
on the
then
moped.
there was like that moment after Barry gets into the ring, and you could just feel the anticipation was just rising, and people just the expectancy of knowing that Mox is moments away from where he's going to come from, nobody knew, so people were looking around as well trying to spot where he was coming from. So and then the music hits, and then yeah, it was just, again, it's one of those moments that you can just feel the electricity in a room, the anticipation, everyone just excited, and living that actual moment was just phenomenal, like absolutely phenomenal.
Hey, it's Joker Bray from OTT Wrestling. We won the moment of the year, which was John Moxley finally arriving into OTT. I just want to thank everyone for voting for that magical moment. It was every bit as magical for me because I remember getting confirmation from the driver that John Moxley was in his car and he was on the way to the hotel. So you guys had a different one. You got to see him come through the audience at Wolverhampton and Dublin, whereas I finally got to meet him backstage, and I can't express the relief of having John Moxley finally in OTT. It was a stressful one. We got it done. Once again, I am thankful for all those that voted, and I appreciate the support from everybody. Thank you.
But Foxy, you mentioned the match, and just happens to be our next category is match of the year. Who will throw over to Liz
Seamless transition
to
Lads,
this award.
I know that, to be fair, out of all of these categories, there was literally no straightforward winner, really, was there? There were some surprises, but I mean, when I go through this list of nominees, like a lot of them, you'll be like, oh my God, do you remember that? Oh my God, do you remember that? All of them you will. And then you're like, oh, who did I vote for? What did I vote for? I forgot about that one. That was my thing when I looked at this list again. I was like, oh my God, which one did I vote for? Because any of them are worthy. Any of them are worthy of the title of Match of the Year for 2023. But with no further ado, I shall go through the nominees and jog all of your memories. Okay, so just on the tail cuts there of what Foxy was on about as well. Be Cool versus John Moxley at the OTT 9th anniversary show. That, of course, came up as a nominee. Followed very closely by LJ Cleary versus Sammy D, and that was at NLW First Impact. Rage and I missed that because I definitely would have enjoyed seeing that match. One that I did see, Omari versus Sammy D. So a second nomination for Sammy D as well. That was at OTT Scrapper Mania 7. Yeah, a lot happened that night, we'll say, but we will wait because there are other categories as well. Raven Creed versus Reardon O'Connor at RCW Pav Fiction. Session Moth Martina versus Debbie Keitel, OTT. Now that's what I call Christmas in Dublin. That was a very, very long awaited match.
Too long.
Unsanctioned. Steve Savage versus Danny Cross versus Mikey Kelly. And that was at Hard Knocks, Hard Luck. Another shout for Hard Knocks, this time at Undisputed. I'm sure there's a thumbnail of my face reaction to this somewhere. Terry Thatcher versus Butch Armstrong. Definitely saw a different side of Butch that night, say no more, but I think it was the makings of him. And finally, from Fight Factory, the 16th anniversary, we had the Fresh Life versus the Saviors. Can you feel it, Colin? Can you feel it?
No, didn't feel that one.
Saviors of Destiny. There are a lot of strong contenders on this list. I mean, any of them could walk away with it.
Yeah.
I have quite a few choices on this, but I thoroughly enjoyed, and I know definitely got a few nominations, was Raven Creed versus Reardon O'Connor. Thoroughly enjoyed that match. So good. And what a whooping that boy got. Deservedly so. So that was my unsung hero for that. Colin, out of them, tell me, did some of them make you go, oh my God, remember that one? Or did some of them go, oh my God, never again, that was brutal?
Yeah, like every match on that list was like tick the box for me. There's only one there that I actually didn't see live, and that was Raven against Reardon. I didn't make it down for that, but just I did get to see it. But a wealth of contenders. It's just, I'm looking at the list here. Sorry, that's why I'm looking this way as well, because I have them here in front of me. But yeah, like exceptional. Like there's a couple of like one of the standouts there for me, LJ Cleary against Sammy D, and I think that for me, and people will be like, oh, where was that, Scrappermania or the anniversary show? Or no, it was in NLW in Nice and an all ages show, and like I don't think that match has been done anywhere else. Two of the absolute best in this country in the last 5 years took place on that NLW show. And it just goes to show you, this is why you can't, like, you should be getting to as many shows as you can, because you're going to get these gems, you know. Like if you were to ask anyone over the last 5 years who are the best wrestlers in the country, and I can guarantee you'll hear Sammy D and LJ Cleary on that list. Sammy probably the best heel that we've had in a long time, and LJ probably the best babyface that we've had in a long time. And here they are facing off in a ladder match in NLW, you know. So that's massive for me. But my actual pick and my nomination for this was Omari against Sammy from Scrappermania. I think I had the best storyline and build going into it of all the matches, and I'm not just looking at it as a match contender, although it was an exceptional match. It was also, how did we get there? How did it make me feel when I was watching that match? Was I invested in this? You know, and that one ticked all the boxes for me. So Sammy versus Amari was my pick there. An emotional roller coaster. Getting there, and then an emotional roller coaster of a match. Coming out of it. So that was my one. But props to absolutely everybody on that list, because I can't fault any of those matches. Exceptional work by all involved.
Defo. Wow.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah, I can't really say much more about it. You know, matches has to, it's a roller coaster. It has to take you on a ride throughout the whole match from start to finish. Everyone on that list, testament to Sammy and LJ though, when you mentioned that in a ladder match and LW shows that aren't recorded, aren't on demand anywhere where people can go back and watch them, and it's still got enough votes to end up in the top, what, 8 or 9 out of all the ones that were listed. So, anybody who was in attendance obviously has voted for it. That's how good that match was. You're not going back and watching it on demand, like, so you're comparing matches that happen in front of 2,000 people to, I'm not sure what the capacity for the Moat Theatre is, but
300 or so. Roughly.
Yeah, I think it is like 300.
so
250, 300.
you've got that, that who knows what the percentage of that 300 voted and the awards over 2,000 people, and that match still ended up like, so a match of the year doesn't have to be in a big stadium in front of millions of people and people watching at home and stuff like that for it to be
as well.
considered.
That was back in January
yeah,
last year as
exactly.
well. So it just shows how long
people remember it.
It was sticking with people. Yeah. So
it's a testament to the two performers to put on a match like that people still remember, that don't get a chance to go back and watch it, but they can still remember how good it was. So a match of the year has to have that, and you have to be able to remember. We've said talk about moments of the year. Moments of matches, like you can go back and they say, oh, Shawn Michaels saying "I love you" to Ric Flair is a moment, but do you remember the rest of the match?
No,
not really. It's a moment, but if you can go back and remember a whole match, you can remember spots and stuff that happened throughout the match, and how you felt after the match is over. If you got goosebumps or you had that, Simon Miller warm fuzzy feeling in your tum thing going on, like that's what a match is supposed to make you feel like. You're supposed to feel something for the match and the performers. So, anybody on that list, all these matches, they're left people who voted for them with some sort of feeling that they remembered why they loved that match or why they voted for it. So everybody deserves to be there.
Like, God bless your memory. Like, if you can remember every single spot that's in that match, like from start to finish, like, God help you, like, because you have so many like people in the wrestling business that can't even like remember their match once they're done with it.
Once
it's like,
over,
what to do? I forget what I done in that. Remind me.
I just say one of my favorites for that is Amari. Amari just he's so bad at remembering his matches. Like, even when you tell him the match and who he had it against, he's like, no,
I know,
gone.
Okay.
It's gone once he's done.
Okay. Foxy, you'll have to be impartial for this now because you probably reffed 90% of these matches.
The only one I haven't reffed is Raven and Reardon. That's the only one I haven't reffed. Everything else I have.
Yeah. So we will leave you out of this of you saying which one is your favorite, considering you reffed them. I think that would be a little bit this one was good. This one wasn't as good as that one. I know because I reffed it, because the way you've been going into business for yourself.
Just for a moment, I think I'm just looking at these matches and sorry, I don't think you reffed this unsanctioned match either. But I'm just looking at some of them, and I think Foxy probably took a ref bump in every single one of the matches that he was in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think about the match again.
Get it right. It's not a ref bump. It's a Foxy spot.
Foxy spot.
I didn't do a Foxy spot in the Moxley.
No.
Danny and LJ didn't do anything in that one. LJ and Sammy.
You took the super kick in that, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I got caught in that one. Omari and Sammy D. Yes, I took something in that. Raven and Reardon, I wasn't there because Bedlam won't book me. Session on Debbie, I didn't do any spots. I was there to help them purely. Steve Savage and Danny Cross and Mike Kelly. No, I did not ref that. I didn't want any part of that. Because violence, I don't agree. Terry Thatcher and Butch Armstrong, I refed that, but I didn't do any spots in it.
Did you not?
No, didn't do any spots in that. Fresh Life versus the Saviors. No, I didn't do any spots in that either.
Did you not?
No.
Fresh Life and that had a load of shenanigans in it.
I had shenanigans, but I didn't actually.
You were the blind ref that Deco puts up on Twitter.
Pretty much, yeah,
I was nearly full sure that you had spots in that match because that was the 2 out of 3 falls, wasn't it?
I think so. Like
Yeah.
as far as I know, I was dragged out, but like again, I was actually still involved. So
When Foxy sees Anita Vaughn, he just sees what we see when we see John Cena. He just doesn't see her there, like, so she just gets away with murder during a segment
Yeah.
match.
what happened?
Well,
Huh?
let's see who.
This episode is sponsored by Specsavers.
Let's see who won.
Yeah, put us out of our misery.
Cool. Right. So, in third place, with 14.1% of the vote, is Steve Savage versus Danny Cross versus Mikey Kelly. Wow. For such a new promotion, that had a huge impact. That's
Fair play.
amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, right?
I think it shows that there's an audience for that type of wrestling as well.
Yeah.
Although it's not entirely for me, and I think there's a certain line that it should stop at.
Yep.
Don't mind a bit of hardcore stuff, but I think there's a line that it should stop at. But yeah, I think it just shows that there's certainly an audience there for it, and it sticks with people.
Yeah. And definitely, and there was a story to it as well. It wasn't just a random match,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
again counts for so much in wrestling. You can have all the flippy dippies all you want, but if you got a story in there, mate, you've got magic, lightning in a bottle.
That's
In
the
second
difference.
place, with 16.2% of the vote, is Omari, if you can remember it, versus Sammy Day. So there you go, second place that came in.
Wow.
Jamie Coleman here, Ango's sidekick at OTT, here to announce a winner for the Irish Wrestling Awards 2023. This one is for Match of the Year, so I'm going to announce the winner right now, almost live. And the winner is Be Cool versus John Moxley from OTT. Well done, John and Barry.
So there we have your winner for Match of the Year 2023. Well done, well done. What a year for Be
Well
Cool.
done.
What?
Ew.
That's
What a year.
That's his second match of the year. That's 2 in a row for Barry.
That's
When did he
mad.
get last year?
I think it was B against Sam, his retirement match.
Shit, he did. Yes,
The year
he
before.
did.
So
That's right.
Wow.
So, like, if anyone's out there telling me that Be Cool isn't capable of having quality matches and isn't able to work at the top of the game, he's after having 2 match of the years in a row, as voted for by a large contingent of fans, with over a quarter of the vote this year. And I think they walked it last year, as far as I know. I think it was a landslide last year. So I think that just shows how good and probably how underrated he is as an in-ring performer, not just as a character or as his funny side, but actually being able to put on and have exceptional matches. 2 in a row, Be Cool, take a bow. Well done.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic.
Hey, oh, listen, lads, I want to say thanks very much for voting me and John Moxley as your match of the year. That's 2 matches of the year in a row for Be Cool. This year, hopefully, we can make it 3 in a row. And bad form that you didn't vote me Wrestler of the Year. We will change that this year. Up.
We go straight back into the next one.
Let's
Jerry,
rock it out.
you're going to
Let's
take us
go for
away
it.
here with the feud of the year.
Feud.
Now,
Ooh.
feuds are a big thing. Anybody can have a match, but a feud is something that's like, it's like cinema. I think for me, for feuds, like, there's got to be a story arc. There's got to be an up and a down. You've got to, when it comes to heels and faces, whoever you're facing, like, there's got to be that, maybe 2 or 3 matches or a long gap between the matches, and there's a lot of stuff, shenanigans happening in between stuff. Like, so feuds have to be something that you're going to remember for the year, and the nominations this year are right in there. Debbie and Martina,
Yes.
right up there. That was a long time coming. For a long time, Martina was not involved in the women's title picture, and Debbie was, after taking over fucking OTT, the women's division, and Martina was, doing comedy matches, and she was involved in mixed tag matches, or, was involved in a lot of, maybe the GN title stuff. But
yeah,
to get back into the women's title picture for her, this was something that was, people were crying out for a long time.
Just remember who she was.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, someone that could carry the division on her back.
Yep.
So putting her into that feud with Debbie, I think, was one of the best decisions they made. And it showed for the whole year, like that.
Yeah.
Right up until they finally had that match in December. Unfortunately, she got injured before the anniversary show, and she never got to have that match. The latter match was something else. Like, to end that feud was outstanding. Mari and Sammy, same boat. Like, Mari was champion for a long time, and Sammy, trying to get to that point where he was the Grand Slam champion. Story the way it ended was perfect. Renzo and Sam, again, Sam and Renzo have been fucking feuding for a long time, like, and even up till now, like, they're still kind of, they're not feuding, like, but they're still that old, pretending like Renzo doesn't like him kind of thing, like.
One thing about that one as well, Renzo and Sam, is that it's the only nominee that they never, as far as I'm aware, and someone might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but they never had a match just against each other.
They haven't had a one-on-one match.
No, but I think they've been involved in matches, tag matches against each other.
Yeah.
They've been involved in multi-man matches where they've been
But
against
never
each other.
singles.
But I don't think, and it's the only one on the list that
That's
they
mad.
haven't faced off across the ring against each other one-on-one.
Which is crazy to think.
Yeah, it just shows how good of
there's it's Feud of the Year for
feud it
2023, so it's, like I said, it's still ongoing at the minute, so it may come in it in 2024, may end up in Feud of the Year 2024 as well.
It shows that the feud doesn't need to be
No, it doesn't.
in ring against each other as
Not at
well.
all.
You can do, and I think that's what they've done very well, is that they've done things where they're not in the ring standing across from each other. They're doing a lot of stuff during other matches or at the end of matches or before matches, and even online with promos and stuff.
They intermingle at different points, but they never actually directly like clash.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's a great thing because it means that like you can build a story over a long term because of that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, when you do decide to finally like pull the trigger on it, it means that like there's already this backstory and all these other segments and intermingle and matches that where they've interacted but never directly clashed. So yeah, like, it could very well happen in 2024, but in terms of 2023, like, that's a great show in regards to a feud that never had a direct one-on-one confrontation.
It hasn't had that finish yet. It hasn't.
Yeah.
It's still ongoing. It's I'm not going to mention about Cody's story. Like, they haven't finished their story yet. Their feud is still ongoing. Like, they're still playing up to that Renzo hating Sam story. So eventually it's going to have to pay off. That's the thing.
But they don't have to rush into it. That's the handy thing about it.
No, but they're right. They have gotten votes. People have voted for them. Maybe they haven't realized that they hadn't had that one-on-one match yet. They've had tag matches. They were involved with Santino in that tag match. So there's a lot more.
They didn't really need it either, because they had that moment in the stadium where Sen won the GN, and kind of Renzo kind of like handed it to him and kind of gave him his props there. And then they had a bit of a feud with that, and then Renzo went to Italy and won the NLW. So they never had it. It is kind of finished to an extent, but they can always go back to it as well whenever they want, And I just thought that was a nice little tidbit that it's actually made the list without having that match against each other. I just thought that was
And the other two in the list were Raven and Reardon, and Fresh Life and the Saviors. Like, there's plenty of backstory there, plenty of room for more if they ever wanted to go back to these kind of things as well. Like, that's a good thing about feuds. They don't just have to end with a match. Like, they can always go back to it if there's something unfinished business.
Yeah.
So
the one thing, sorry, just before we get to the results, the one thing that kind of stood out to me about this category is, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with other matches in the country, but I think it shows that there's not that many long-term feuds on the go. But all the ones on this list have been exceptional in my opinion.
Mhm.
And I think I'd love promoters to maybe take a look at this and maybe put a bit more investment into longer form feuds and stories. And I get that the likes of RCW Hard Knocks, they're not running as often. But I think like in NLW, who's probably running, I think he's running a bit more often or wants to run a bit more often. And OTT, who are running all the time, I think there's a lot more that could be done there with longer form feuding. Because there was only the 5 nominees in this category, and which were nominated. I didn't have to narrow this one down. But I'd love to see. That's my bread and butter. I love longer term storytelling and stuff. So, hopefully there's a bit more of it next year.
Let's hope so.
But yeah, give us the
So,
results there, Jerry.
in third place with 18.2% of the votes, Omari and Sammy D.
That's quite high.
Oh, there are 5. There's only what 5 in the category. So
It's 5 in the
Yeah,
category.
about
Yeah,
that.
in second place with 19.2%, so just slightly above it,
Close.
was Renzo and Sem.
Ooh.
No match
Wow.
involved. Well, no singles match. But the winner by a massive margin with 41.4% of the vote was Debbie versus
Yes,
Martina.
by 150,000,000%. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm here for the girls. 1,000,000%. That like what are the key ingredients for a feud? Okay, it needs damn good wrestling. Okay, in ring. It needs emotion. It needs connecting beyond that fourth wall, which is us. Okay, connecting to our emotions and our feels. It needs cool spots. It needs hot spots. And this had all of that. That can be revisited at any time. And that's the sign of a great feud. Not to flat into the ground, but can be revisited to always show that there's an underlying tension, but also mutual respect. Well deserved, girls. Well deserved. Unbelievable. And hands down, right decision.
And like deservedly so. Like the girls like had a feud for basically the better part of over a year.
Yeah.
And found ways to extend that feud longer than what normal feuds would actually last. Like normal feuds would probably only last about at max maybe 6 months with a decent build. But the two girls proved that like you can actually like extend it, but also keep people interested with bits here and there, like incorporating different elements by having other people come in and be like almost proxy like stand-ins, like in order to help either build attention or add to what the storyline requires. Again, yes, there's good spots and there's great emotion, but again, if you don't have a good story that's told in between to keep people hooked, then sorry, the matches will stand on their own, but the feud won't get as high praise unless it has a solid story.
Yeah.
Like, something so simple as her Debbie stealing the title belt after the match was, and it led all the way through to the ladder match.
Yeah. And rightfully so. They also, like, let's not forget, these two main evented an OTT like show in a ladder match. Like, there's very few people that have done a ladder match in OTT, and for the ladies to show that they can do it on such a high level, like, is amazing. And that is I would consider the standard bearer for, right, this is what's expected from the girls going forward. Like, if you go below that, then sorry. Like, there's a high level expected if you want to be on the top. Simple.
Absolutely, yeah. This was my pick, and I think so happy that Debbie and Martina have gotten the votes from the rest of the community. For me, the big standout for this was a bit of realism as well. They weren't afraid to throw in some real life stuff.
Yeah.
The whole session what I am the best women's wrestler in this country. You're not. And Debbie saying, well, I'm going to fucking prove you wrong. You might be the standard bearer. You might have been around for the last 10 plus years, but it's my time now. and I'm gonna fucking show you that, you know. And there was no kind of holding back and Session Mock kind of saying, well, I'm your fucking final boss. You need to get through me to prove your worth, you know,
Whereas
to
like Debbie had the killer line of like, right, if you even get a sniff of a contract, you're gone. We know
yeah,
this. So
yeah,
why should we follow you when I'm here?
yeah.
I'm here carrying this division, bringing it to new levels. Like
Mhm.
it's a killer line, but like it's a hint of realism as
Yeah.
well. Like, and that's the kind of stuff that you're like, oh, like,
Close to the bone.
yeah, I like there's a smoking gun like just waiting there in the wings, but it's like I want to see more of this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely the kind of stuff that kind of draws you in and then keeps you there as well. And then that kind of roller coaster stuff, that up and down moments, that we had a very different run going into Scrapper than we did in the second half of the feud. You know, the dynamic completely changed after Scrapper Mania, you know, and you're able to keep it going. You
Mm.
know, people say that, and I think we spoke about it on a podcast, that people think that Scrapper Mania is the end of feuds. I go out on a limb and kind of say that that was the beginning of theirs,
Mm.
you know, where it actually ramped up and it stepped up into a new gear, and it took a new form and accelerated it all the way up. And it was a shame that they didn't get that match at the anniversary show. But if they had have got the match at the anniversary show, not anything against it, but it would have been in the middle of the card somewhere.
yeah,
You know, they ended up main eventing an OTT show, the first women to do so. So that in itself is a feat, and these kind of things happen for a reason. And it was unfortunate that Martinez sustained that injury, but look at what they got out of it instead, you know. So yeah, massive props to the two girls, and exceptional year plus long feud. Um, but we will move on to the imports, which I will hand back over to Mr. Fox. The reason being why I decided to kind of jump back to Foxy for this one is because we see these guys coming over all the time. Foxy gets to work with them a lot more, and I think he can definitely see a very different side to how these guys come into a new locker room,
mm.
and how they kind of handle themselves, how they portray themselves, and it can be a very daunting task for an import to come in, but to come in multiple times and to have that impact on not just the fans, but the guys in the back and the promotions is a different story altogether. So Foxy, I'll throw over to you for our import of the year.
Yeah. Like with the nominees there for this category, like again, the like you could take a pick of like anyone and put on this list, but I mean, like what Colin said, it's the fact that like right, the fans will see them come over and do these matches and the small engagement that they do. Whereas like I'm very lucky enough to work with them and also see them backstage, how they interact and how they assimilate into the locker rooms that they enter. And some of them have been an absolute ball to work with. Some of them are uh one or two are just like to keep to themselves and they don't really like to interact much, which is a shame, but again, to each their own. But again, the people that tend to be like engaging and having fun and just up for chatting with anyone, like they're the ones that we tend to have back more, because their personality shines through when they're comfortable backstage. Um, some of them don't get to showcase that in the wrestling, so they showcase it in a different way. Like their wrestling does their talking, but there are others that are probably either growing or like they haven't figured out some, or they present something very different. Um, so for the likes of these, like for the imports, like every one of these that are on the list, bar
Runs through the list there, Foxy,
yeah.
quickly.
Actually, sorry. So like the nominees that have been presented are Man Like the Reese, who's just been cooking up a storm and traveling around and like putting on amazing matches, like great personality, great engagement. Like from the very first day they came in. Gene Money, who I love. I absolutely love Gene Money. Like I think he's entertaining to no end. Um, a relatively newcomer, Golden Boy Santos. What an absolute sweetheart. I love the guy. Like absolute tank of a guy, but like sweetheart. Love him, love him, love him. I do predict seeing big things from him in 2024 because the dude has a great work ethic. Like he's just jacked. He looks like a star.
Yeah.
Like again, like it, and in the short space of time that we've had him here in OTT, like he's made such a great impression on the roster that like everyone wants to see him succeed. Like that should tell you like what the person is like when backstage. Like they're just lovely to be around. They have a great work ethic. They go out there and they perform to the best of their ability. Like again, and they're getting across with the crowd. Like that's like that ticks all the boxes, and I absolutely love having him over. Next, John Moxley. We finally got him over after over 4 years.
Brand new up and comer. Never heard of him.
Kind of looks like Ambrose.
So this pick in particular, for me is on the bad side, simply because he did not want to engage anyone backstage. Zero. Like he kept to himself, and he only interacted with people that he had to interact with, which is a shame because, like, with some imports, we expect to like, okay, look, we can understand you're tired, you've done all your traveling, you're probably just like wrecked, but at the very same time, you expect at least a decent courtesy of like, hello, like, how are you? Are you well? Like, just short chit chats, even to just break the tension. But that wasn't the case with Moxley. Some people agree with me, some people won't. But I judge off my interaction with him, and I didn't have a good interaction with him. So, but that's my opinion on him. Next, we have Leighton Buzzard, El Capitan. I love Leighton Buzzard. Fantastic. Like we've only had him for a short space of time in 2023, but my God, did he make a serious impact. Like he showed how versatile he could be, especially on, I think it was the Draw show where he worked 3 matches.
Yeah, yeah.
Like 3 matches in one show. And they were all different matches. Each match was different from the other.
He carried Trent as well on a show.
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry. He didn't carry Trent. Trent is a good wrestler, but I think he made Trent look even better than Trent is. And now Trent's an OTT champion now, so that says a hell of a lot about Leighton Buzzard.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on the Fight Factory show on the Friday, OTT Saturday, and then Hard Knocks on the Sunday that weekend?
He was.
Yes.
He was indeed, yeah.
Yes. So like they certainly put him to work during that weekend.
Like he also had a stint as Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion there for a little while as well, you know. So he didn't just come in as, oh, I'm an import coming in for a quick stop off. Like he invested in Ireland and Irish wrestling, and I know that he was over here for a lot, not just wrestling. He was over here training, and he did a little bit of coaching and stuff as well while he was over. So he was a massive asset, and it's great to see that he's back and he's going to be hopefully here for a little bit of 2024.
Like I mean, we we had him for a short spell, but like again, like he did most of his work in Fight Factory where he won the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship, and really like mixing it up with anyone that was in Fight Factory, like defending the belt and really like trying to put anyone that needed it to put them over in the right way. Dude is already exceptionally talented, but then he went to Japan and came back and just is a different monster altogether. Like just carries himself so much like the way he carries himself now is so like he looks like a star. He walks like a star, and he knows he has the ability to deliver. Like he knows full well who he is now. And my God, like in 2024, I cannot wait to see more matches with Leighton Buzzard. Like, again, the dude, if he doesn't get snatched up this year, I don't know what is wrong with the promotions out there. I really don't know. But again, love Leighton Buzzard. Next, we have Robbie X, the X-Man. I love him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, the dude is seriously just a mutant. Because I was fortunate enough to see him have a match with Leon Slater before he got signed in England. And watching them I won't say talk about planning their match. It was more just like communicate with body language, which is next level. You don't see this like very often, and it's scary to see because you're so used to seeing people when they plan their match, they'll talk about like what they think they might want to do or what they want to do. With Leon Slater and Robbie X, it's literally just it's just motion, and then maybe I might do this. What the fuck? It's scary, but to see them go out there and actually like just go out there and work. I mean, it is mind blowing, but very, 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 very lucky that very recently, like I know it's not part of 2023, but recently in 2024, we had that match here in Ireland. And it was the opener for a show. And rightfully so, because the two guys just went out there and killed it. Like, absolutely loved it. It was an absolute treat to watch. Robbie X, like, he's the king of the cruiserweights for a fucking reason. He's so goddamn good. And again, like with Leighton Buzzard, like, if he is not snatched up this year, I don't know what's wrong. Like, because this guy has been working away the last few years, like, getting himself into good shape, getting himself presentable, getting himself better, and work with the best talents out there. Like, again, how could you not have Robbie X like on your roster? I mean, he just seems tailor made for the likes of TNA, for their like X division. Just seems tailor made for it. But again, can't can't wait to see more Robbie X. And our final like nominee is a guy that just came in for a couple shows. We had him for a short spell. Santino Marella. And
I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. Ah, no. Koba. Yeah. Um, it was fun. The first night I met him because it was in Wolverhampton, and it was literally an audible that was called last second to have him come out and be a special referee. This was the show where I got put through a door. He came out, did his shtick, and didn't bother to check on me in the meantime. Just like, oh, look at that dead guy. But then we had him in the stadium where it was a tag matches, I believe. It was himself and the Sam against Ilya Zarkov again and Renzo Rose. And it was just fun to see like a great moment for the Italian lads that we have here. Just amazing to see them mix it up and have a legend in there with them. So very very influential kind of moment for them. I'd say they got more out of that than they let on. And yeah, that is like our nominees. But I suppose like I I better move on with the results.
It's a great list, like, and it shows a good
Yeah.
variety. Some guys who are only after coming in, like Santos. Some guys who have been a couple of mainstays, like MLD, Leighton, Robbie, Gene has been in and out. He seems to take stints in Ireland, doesn't he? Like where he'll be here for a few shows and then you don't see him for a year, and then he comes back
Yeah.
and he's on shows for the next 3 months, like, and then he goes again. But
Well, that's
then
good.
you
It's
have your
part of his
major,
appeal. Like that, I
yeah.
love seeing Gene come over, and no matter when he comes over, it's a lot of fun. Like it's easy to work with him. Like there's always a fun spot in there. Again, wrestling's a variety show. Like you don't have to have all the matches be like super technical like wrestling or high flying like flip stuff.
Yeah.
It's a variety show and there's bits of everything in there, and this category is a great example of that, like imports that bring something very different in their own right to the table. But
Before we get the results, Jerry and Liz, one name, who he is picking?
Robbie X.
Leighton.
Robbie.
Domestic. Leighton was my pick, who I voted for. I won't give anything away because I know the results, but when I voted, I picked Leighton as well. I think he had the biggest impact on the scene last year as an import. But yeah, without further ado.
Well, folks, the time has come. It is the 2023 awards for Import of the Year in Irish Wrestling, and I am absolutely fascinated to see which way this goes. The envelope is here. Let's take a look. A very, very worthy winner indeed. The winner of Import of the Year, none other than my man, Leighton Buzzard. Thoroughly deserved, and we wish him a very quick, speedy, and full recovery. Can't wait to have you back in an Irish ring soon.
That's fair enough. That's a fair call, to be fair. And he's a super nice guy.
Yeah. Like,
you know, that's fantastic. Wow.
Like when I was doing the votes myself, like Leighton was my top pick. Like it just like I see big things from the likes of Leighton and Robbie X. Like I really do.
Yeah.
Because they're so goddamn good. Like, I mean, I briefly talked about like Leighton Buzzard going to Japan. Let's not forget, I've also talked about someone else who has gone to Japan and has had 2 tours now. And I cannot wait for when he comes back to the Irish scene to wrestle. Not just coach, wrestle. LJ Cleary. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Because, my God, he is going to know full well how to carry himself and knows how to better present himself as well now. Like,
do you think there's a Japanese podcast over there now voting LJ as their import of the year?
Who knows? Maybe there is.
Should be. It should be.
Hopefully.
Well, there you have it, folks. Import of the Year 2023, El Capitan himself, Leighton Buzzard. Now, we did record that show a couple of weeks ago before Leighton picked up his injury against Michael Oku for Rev Pro. And I had reached out to Leighton about getting a video sent across. Obviously, that injury happened and he has more important stuff on his plate, like his recuperation. And I know he was in for surgery and stuff, so... But I just wanted to take this opportunity on behalf of myself, my colleagues, Jerry, Liz, Mark, Foxy, with Irish Wrestling Entertainment, and I'm sure I speak for all of the fans when I say thank you very much, Leighton, for a phenomenal 2023. We really look forward to having you back in 2025 as you are predicting, and we wish you the speediest recovery possible, and we are here waiting for you. We will always support you, we love you, and we cannot wait for you to come back. But congratulations on winning Import of the Year 2023. Well, there you have it, folks. Part 1 of the Irish Wrestling Awards 2023 are in the books. You can see the winners on screen. We do have 1st, 2nd and 3rd. We will be back later this week with part 2, where we have 5 more awards, including the big one, Wrestler of the Year 2023. Join us then.